Okay, well, we've certainly got a nice day for it here in Regents Park.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Exactly. Of all the many fascinating honourable professions in the world, why acting, Charlotte?
Good question. I've gone into acting purely because it seems the natural step. I started performing when I was about 8. I love dancing and singing and just generally performing. As a kid, I used to go and do little stints in front of my parents. So I've kind of tried that. I've had a singing career for about 10 years, and acting is kind of the next natural step for me.
Do you remember the first piece of acting you did, like at school? Was it like in a play or anything? Was there anything that you did early on?
You know what? I never really did drama at school. I went to one of those schools that didn't really have a great drama course, so I didn't really get the chance to study acting as such. I did a few little shows, but they were more dancing shows. I was more about dancing then. And it's only really in the last sort of couple of years that I've really thought, I really want to try my hand at acting on TV, because I've done a lot of stage and theatre, so I wanted to try and do the TV side.
Early influences, inspirations?
Well, again, when I was young, there'd be shows like 3-2-1 for those that were born around the 70s, 80s.
Leslie
and
Crowther?
they had like
I'm showing my age.
Yeah, they had dance troupes on there, like Brian Rogers Connection and Pan's People and people like that.
Top of the Pops.
Yeah, exactly. Top of the Pops, and watching these dancers kind of be really sexy, and at the time it was sexy. I mean, you watch it now, it's quite old-fashioned and quite tasteful compared to what you see on music videos now. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be that girl on TV dancing provocatively, and that's kind of what started it really, which was strange because I was quite a shy, timid girl, and I was very shy and timid at school, and so to want to perform like that was kind of like a bit of an escapism, I think, for me.
Your image, your hairstyle, it's quite rare. It's something that I've been speaking to some people recently actually, and saying that I'm going to be doing an interview with you, and they're saying, oh, it's like your distinctive look and all that kind of thing. What made you choose the hairstyle and the image that you've got at the moment?
It kind of just happened really. I was chosen, fortunately, to do a commercial for Cancer Research UK.
Okay.
It's due to come out March this year, and I was chosen just from a casting call via Spotlight. And I went along. Initially, I said no to shaving my head, so that almost stopped me from actually going to the casting. But I thought about it, and I thought, come on, Charlotte, do something daring in your life. Come on, shave your head. If you don't like it, you can grow it back.
Yeah, of course.
So I decided to do it, and I got the job. We were flown to South Africa to film it, so it was a great opportunity. I'm working with a great director, Siri Bunford. And the actual scene involves me shaving my hair in the scene. So my friend is shaving my head actually in the scene as I say my line.
And that's from like long locks and things?
From very long. It was down here, down to my sort of arm,
Goodness me.
my chest. And
that's on camera?
It's all on camera.
Wow.
And I hope it's going to be in the scene of the ad, them actually shaving it off, because it was quite a poignant moment for me. I've had long hair nearly all my life.
No, yeah.
But I wanted to do something like that. It's made me feel very liberated and very different, and I think being different's good. And if you can be unique, especially if you're in acting, then surely it's going to be a good thing. It could restrict me as well, so I might decide to grow it back. I don't know.
Yeah.
It only happened a couple of months ago, so.
Wow.
I keep shaving it. I keep going to the barbers and getting it shaved.
Yeah. No, well, I do mine myself. We talked about that the other day, didn't we? Yeah. You know what? When you were talking about that just then, you said you had it shaved on film. The first thing that came to my head. Have you ever seen the film Full Metal Jacket?
No.
Have you heard of it?
I've heard of
it. The opening. Well, basically, it's about Vietnam.
Right. Yeah.
And the youngsters going to war and everything. And basically, there's about 4 or 5 leading roles in that. And then the opening scene, I think it's Stanley Kubrick who directs it.
Right.
And basically, the opening scene is they're about to go into the Marines.
Yeah.
So therefore, all 5 of them, it shows them, each of them having their head shaved. Yes. And it's just like really, that's the opening title.
The director, Siri, was more worried about, the part of me shaving my head than I was. I mean, I was really excited. I just thought, what a great cause to be doing it for. I managed to raise about £400 as well, online. I set up a donation page and had a couple of goblets at work for people to donate money. So I'm really pleased, and thanks to all those that, that donated.
Dream role. What role would really appeal to you?
Dream role. To act something that is really outside my comfort zone. I think my comfort zone will always be to play something quite hard, quite feisty, quite strong, because I'm just naturally like that. I can't help it. That's just the way my face is and the way I act. I come across quite confident, apparently. So I'd like to play something that's completely opposite that. Maybe very humorous, comedic, soft, genteel, to really push myself. That would be a dream role for me, because it would be like I've managed to do something completely opposite to my natural presence.
Are you drawn towards TV and film or the stage more? What would you say?
Now I'd say TV and film. For most of my life it's been theatre and stage, and I still do. I still love performing on stage, and I still will, hopefully, in my life. But my focus is at the moment, right now, learning the skills of being on TV and film, and learning the art of being an actor on TV and film.
Okay. We've met at the London Actors Workshop. I believe you're coming up to week 5 now, I believe.
Yeah.
How have you found the course so far?
Really good.
Yeah.
I recommend it completely. John Sedgwick is fantastic at organising everything, and he's very clear in what you're going to be getting out of the course, because I find when I was searching for a course to do, I found it very confusing as to actually what you'll be getting on the course. So that, number one, is very good. There's a lot of work in front of the camera, which I think for any actor like me starting out fresh, you need to have. You need to have a lot of practice in front of the camera, because it's very daunting to do that.
You did that on Sunday.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it's really good fun. And it's a bit scary to see me as I do at the moment.
Yeah.
But that's something I want to get used to, and I want to utilise it.
Just out of interest, how did you find the Shakespeare class, which you did with Merrin?
I was frightened. Well, not frightened. I suppose that's a bit too drastic. I was apprehensive about that class because I don't like Shakespeare. I'm going to be shot down, by avid Shakespeare actors. But I don't like Shakespeare because I don't understand it. So through that class, poor Merrin that was running that class, because I kept saying to him, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? But bless him, part of the class was dissecting each exact sentence to what it meant, and it was really good. It was really helpful, Okay. It was really good, actually. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
How do you view the performing arts industry in 2013?
Very competitive, far more competitive than it was when I was a teenager coming out of college, and it was competitive then, but I just feel it's far more competitive now. The standard is so much higher. You have to be very good at what you do all of the time. You can't let it slack. You can't let it go. You can't miss classes. You have to be on top of your game. You have to be unique. You have to come up with something original all the time. That's how I feel it is, whether it is or not. That has been my experience. That you have to be completely on top of your game, and it is very competitive, and it's very hard still, and it was back then even. I think, I think because of technology, it's becoming more and more competitive, because people are able to submit their CVs much quicker, much easier, much faster, and the whole reality TV thing that's now hit us in our nation has made it more appealing to those that perhaps wouldn't have thought about going into performing arts, because they just want the fame. And I think that's what's made the performing arts become a little weaker, because you're getting a lot of people really coming in that aren't necessarily skilled at what they do. They just want to be famous, and I think it's a shame, because it's ruining it for those that have really studied it.
Do you know what? I find it quite interesting, actually, because we've had I'd say probably 2000 to 2010 was the decade of reality TV.
Yeah.
I think it'll be looked back on in those times, and it's quite interesting that all these people that have been given this massive platform to do certain things, but did you notice that there was not many that ever really capitalised on it? It was just the show, it was the Big Brother house, and that was it. And once they were out, there was nothing really much to offer. Do you see what I mean?
No,
there was no kind of strings to the bow.
No.
There's been one or two, who have been able to sustain
celebrities sort of thing.
Yeah,
That's what it seems to be, though. They just want to become celebrities.
Yeah.
And there's no real art or skill.
Do you see what I mean, though?
There's no training.
Imagine if there was someone there who did have like a lot of foundation and lots of strings to their bow, and they could have capitalised that on. But basically, it was just sort of chasing fame for fame's sake.
Right.
That wasn't sort of like a bitter response. But no,
we're all bitter against reality.
No. But the two at the top of my head who are just still in the equation now. Who's the pianist who was on Pop Stars? The Hearsay. She's got long brown hair. I've forgotten what her name is. Do you know who
Kim Walsh.
No, well, she did. Yeah, she
She's
was
done
on
really well.
Coronation Street. Exactly.
See, that's great because at least she's, she was lucky
Marlene
to get
Klass.
Marlene Klass.
Yeah.
She's done great as well.
Exactly.
She's
Or Will
presenting,
Young
she's good at what
and
she
that
does.
kind of thing. Yeah. So
Yeah,
just
Will Young's very good at what he does. He deserves, success. But these people who kind of get success just out of complete, image and production and backing, the right backing, and they don't really have a lot of talent. I get a little bit fed up seeing that because I know personally so many people that are talented and are skilled and have trained for years and years and years could wipe the floor with them, but they don't get the chance.
No, exactly. No, it's like we need some it's a long time since there's been sort of like, and if you're going to be sustain it, we lost the comedy actor Richard Bryars yesterday, and did you see the cost of Richard Bryars, he passed on. I think he was 79 years old, the chap from The Good Life and Ever Decreasing Circles. No, and then they were showing yesterday on the news the catalogue of his work, and it's just, The Good Life's on.
Yeah.
It's always
shows
on.
like that they don't do anymore.
No.
It's like shows where it's just about, because even if they do shows about normal life, the normal life they're saying they're depicting is violent, aggressive, everyone shouts at each other, everyone hates each other. But The Good Life was kind of like really interesting and still funny, but it was about everyday life, So bring that back, I'd say. Maybe we should write something, Richard.
Tell me, just briefly, we'll just concentrate on this a little bit briefly. Tell me a little bit about your music and your career and everything. Just tell me a little bit about it.
Well, it was a big part of my life, Rich, because I was a singer for a good 10 years as a professional solo singer. I was working constantly, gigging, doing weddings, pubs, clubs, you name it, I did it, bar mitzvah even. And I was out solo a lot of the time. I joined a lot of bands as well, function bands. But I really got into songwriting. And I was influenced a lot by country music. I actually started writing, it's a funny story really. I was in Summer Holiday, the musical, as a dancer and singer, understudy. And I fractured my foot.
Right.
And I was off for 7 weeks. And I thought, I'm not going to sit around for 7 weeks and not do a thing. So I started writing songs. And at the time, I'd been introduced to quite a few country artists like Faith Hill and Pam Tillis and, so many others. I can't even remember now. But that's what really inspired me to start writing country music. And luckily, the first few that I wrote got sent to a publisher, and they signed me up to a publishing deal. And from that, I got into the Eurovision. I was in the Eurovision down to the last 8 with one of my own songs that I'd written. So I was really pleased that my writing was taking off so quickly. It was almost like as soon as I started. So I took that on as far as I could take it, and I really focused hard. And music was the main part of my life. It really engulfed me, and I was very focused, and I was very ambitious, and it's all I wanted. I sacrificed everything. And unfortunately, I was in New York at the time when I was trying to get discovered and I was trying to meet people in the industry. And I overstayed by a day, and I got refused entry back into New York. So I had to shift my whole life back from New York to England and start again, literally start again. And it completely flattened me. I had to pick myself up and brush myself down and carry on, which I did do. And I carried on singing, but I think I was knocked a lot by that, and I've been jaded a lot by that. And as we were talking previously about the people that succeed and they don't have a lot of talent, I get very annoyed because, I was getting somewhere there. I had a producer produce an album, I had a manager, I was doing really well, and I think that spanner in the works really did knock my confidence. And so I kind of have abandoned it. I've kind of pushed it out and pushed it away because I don't want to get hurt by it again. It's a bit like a relationship, If they treat you bad, you don't want them to treat you like that again, so you won't allow them back in your life. And music is a little bit like that to me. I don't really want it in my life at the moment. Not at the moment, I'm not saying not forever. And I may join a band again, or I might be inspired to write again, but I haven't written for a couple of years now, so...
If you don't mind me saying so, I would never close off those doors. Because you never know.
Like I said, I might perform again, I might write again. Never say never. But at the moment, I feel quite healthy in the knowledge that I have got other skills, hopefully.
Yeah, of course. No,
that I want
sure.
to pursue
Absolutely.
and I want to explore.
Yeah.
And just because I can sing and I can dance let's see if I can act. You know, I want to see if I can do that.
But you can maybe even have strings to lead for your music into those.
Absolutely.
Do you see what I mean?
Do you know what I've always said to my friends, family, everyone that's supported me over the years? I've always said to them, you know how ironic it would be if, say, I've gone into acting and I get a role in a film where I have to sing, and then somebody hears me sing and they go, hang on a minute, she's really good, you know, whatever. You know, you just never know.
No. What does acting do for you, Charlotte?
Well, at the moment, as I say, I'm just studying it really, so I'm very new to it. And at the moment, I'll be honest, I don't know how I feel about being an actress, because I don't know what I'm going to get out of it until I get good at it, if you know what I mean. At the moment, I'm still studying it. So when I'm in classes, I enjoy it. Some of the exercises you have to do, I don't like. I feel really odd doing them, and I'm sure everyone does. But they're meant to be skills to then improve you enough to be able to act.
Exactly.
But at the moment, it's just making me feel good that I'm focusing on something other than singing and dancing and something that I've spent my whole life so far doing.
What does music do for you, Charlotte?
Well, not a lot at the moment, because I don't really listen to a lot of music at the moment, purely because I don't have an iPod, I don't have a CD collection, because all my CDs got left in Spain when I moved back from Spain last year, because I couldn't travel with so much stuff, so I had to leave a lot behind, and I chose to leave all my music behind. So I don't really listen to a lot of music, and when I'm listening to the radio, I get very frustrated, so I just turn it off. I get frustrated because there's a lot of music I just cannot relate to. So at the moment, music doesn't do anything but, and that's a big but, music can affect me hugely. I mean, I can listen to a particular song and cry, just like that. You know, it ignites something, and that is beautiful. But music can do that. So I've not lost the passion for music, but there's no sort of music that I listen to at the moment that does it.
FTQ, 5 topical questions. What other profession would you love to try?
That's a hard one, isn't it? Because I suppose you never know what you want to do until you have tried it. And there's maybe jobs out there that I don't even know exist that I'd like to do. But I've often thought about going into psychology. And you find, I think, a lot of performers and actors say that, because you have to go quite deep into your psyche, and you have to analyse yourself quite a lot to find characters and things like that. So psychology is something. I'd like to be a counsellor. I think I'd be quite good as a counsellor. I've gone through a lot of drama myself with my family and my own relationships. So I've got a good insight, I think, to why people behave the way they do. So psychology. Let's say psychology for now.
Favourite animated film?
Monsters, Inc.
A song you would advise strongly someone should listen to?
Yes. The one that springs to mind it's called Adagio. And there's very, very many different versions, but the one I love and I listen to over and over again, and it, like I just said, it makes me just go, oh. The way she sings it, performs it, is Lara Fabian, or Fabian, depending on how you want to say it, Lara Fabian, Adagio.
When your dreams dawn upon you at certain points in your life, or if they ever do you believe you have control of those dreams, or do the dreams control you?
I think when you're young and you're a kid and you're growing up and you're trying to find your path or your goals or your focuses, like I was, my dream was to be famous, to be known, to be someone that people would recognise. Reality TV shows weren't out then, so I didn't know what that was, and that's not what I was thinking of. I was thinking more that I would just be famous and I would be rich and everyone would know my name, and that's kind of what I've always focused on doing. That was my dream, to be famous. It starts to change, obviously, as you grow up and you go through life, and life's twists and turns.
As the plane goes over us. Oh, helicopter! It was a chopper. I can't see from the tree.
Yeah. There is one, people. Just there. There it is. Right. So yeah, dreams can make you do things that you regret. And do dreams take over your life? Yeah. And I think my dream has kind of engulfed me and suppressed me rather than inspired me and encouraged me. So it's up to me now to find new dreams and new goals that I'm passionate about and that can inspire me and drive me on.
Okay. What song reminds you of your childhood?
Any Chicago, Foreigner, Phil Collins. That's the sort of music I was brought up on. My mum and my dad both loved. Mum loved Cliff Richard. Mum and dad both loved Phil Collins, so that was played a lot. And like I say, Foreigner, Dire Straits, Chicago, all brilliant, by the way. I still love them. That reminds me of my childhood.
Any particular Phil Collins song?
In the Air
Because
Tonight.
I'm quite a fan as
Sister
well.
Studio.
Uh-huh.
And that really sad. This is another song that can really get to me because it reminds me of my mum and dad when they separated when I was 11.
Mm-hmm.
They divorced, and I was going through a tough time then. And whenever I used to hear,
Is it the
Separate
duet
Lives.
with Marilyn?
Yes.
I forgot what her last name
Separate
is. I know which
Lives
one
are
you mean
really
there.
sad, and the words in that just depict total just loss, and and I used to think of my dad, how he must feel when I heard that song. It should just really upset me. I should just cry and cry and cry when I heard that song. So when I hear that song, that kind of reminds me of that time. Yeah.
No, that's what songs do. They kind of like pick out. They reflect periods of your life, don't they?
The magic of music.
Exactly. Okay. Well, listen. We've had a lovely day for this. It's been fantastic to do.
Here.
And I do hope London Actors Workshop goes well, and and I do hope the industry is very kind to you, and I wish you lots of luck.
Thank you, Richard.
Exactly.
That's really sweet.
And may great roles come your way.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you.